From the movie to the game.
Activision, in their absolute blessing, contracted Double Helix to program in like a couple of months an actual functioning video game based on the Battleship movie, based on the board game. So, take a wild guess, Dej. What kind of video game can you make based on the Battleship movie?
A tactical strategy game.
You're partially right for the Wii version. Unfortunately, this is the quote-unquote HD version for PS3 and Xbox 360, so instead you get a first-person shooter. With a person on foot, mind you, not even one of our ships.
So, let me put this straight, guys. You're probably going to have a more fun time with the lower-scale Wii version of this game.
And mind you,
I think I might have more fun with the actual
This is a game with bare-bone content, no multiplayer, no real extras aside from like a trailer for the movie or something, you know, no real collectibles. It's like exactly like Angry Joe said, straight 4 hours of your standard Call of Duty clone sold for $60 at launch.
So guys, you know how we pretty much came to the conclusion that Battleship was essentially Bayformers but done worse? Well, the video game is no exception. Whereas the Transformers video games, even the worst of them, have at least a good enough time for gameplay, here it feels like it, but done horribly.
All right, let's set the stage. So, how do you make the story of this game intertwine with the one of the movie?
Oh boy.
You don't.
Technically, yes, you don't. No, you don't. It's technically set in the area that is contained in the dome, so it gives an excuse to fight the aliens. There you go, footage from the movie. But it's more of a coincidence and something that was happening in the background. If you remember in the movie, most of the action, most of the action on the ground was mostly done by Burrito Girl and the War Army veteran with the prosthetic.
Wake up, soldier!
Hold on. There were no actual military operations until Liam Neeson intervened. Here instead it's told that you're part of a small group that has decided that was coincidentally roaming around the Hawaiian archipelago trying to disarm World War II bombs.
So, here's the problem. If you've seen the movie, you'll recall that all the forces on the islands were wiped out by those 2 roller spike balls, so... Yeah, a bit of discontinuity there already. It's the best kind of story, Tio, the one that literally has to break continuity with the film to
Gotta be honest, this is to me is a better headcanon than the one that was happening in the movie.
You're supposed to be an explosive ordnance
and yes, I think that's Gideon Emery, by the way.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. For a game that was made in like, a minute.
What a great writing.
It's actually got a fair few decent voice actors here. It's got Dave Mallow voicing this guy.
Oh, by the way, no subtitles.
It's also got
because I love that.
It's also got Erica Harlacher, Kirk Thornton, and Sam Riegel,
among others. But let me showcase something. Most of your action will be spent as a first-person shooter, like I said. But you have this device, the Battlecom, which allows you to do the closest you get to do Battleship in the actual video game. You have control over some minor ships, which, by the way, there shouldn't be there, like that Java mentioned, because in the dome there were only 3 major ships that remained. But you can actually move them around the quadrant, position them put them in strategic position, fight the enemy ships at the same time, so there is a degree of strategy, but it's absolutely limited and still dependent on the main game of per-person shooting.
So basically, these guys are deactivating World War II bombs. Problem.
Yeah.
What are World War II bombs that are still active doing here in 2012 when the movie takes place?
Stop asking questions.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, Joe, that there are unexploded bombs around. We've had one as recently as last year.
Supposedly, Java, Java, if you remember, I think Oversimplified mentions in his recap, but during the Cold War, a lot of unexploded atomic bombs supposedly might might have been buried all over Europe, so
Yeah,
sleep tight. I
Fair
guess.
enough, but here's the thing. With these bombs that we're finding, they're not buried. They're in plain sight, so... The armies back then must have done a pretty crap job of keeping track of their bombs here and there.
I think you're like just suspend your
Dead.
disbelief.
Okay.
I'm sure there will be a
And yeah,
lot
that's-
more problems with this
And-
game as we go along.
Oh, trust
And
me,
yeah,
there
that's right,
will
everybody.
be, but that's the thing. It's that special kind of game where every detail just does not work.
Well, Jover, I did just say that there are such a thing as unexploded World War II bombs.
Well,
But,
good,
That's right, gentlemen. We here are now coining the term unexploded.
All right, let's plant the
Duds.
C4.
Also,
Shit.
yes, because that...
3, 2, 1.
Ah, yes,
The blue
C4.
wave.
Yes, C4. That's such a safe thing to have, you know, so close to some bombs that have not been deactivated.
It's control Java, don't you know? Like,
But, yeah, do it. I do get your point. My counterpoint, though, was like, well, even if that is the case, they're apparently just finding these bombs around the island. Like, I'm pretty sure that maybe these bombs should have been buried or something for them to not have been found until 2012.
Well, so sometimes it happens. Sometimes you accidentally bury something.
Well, that's the thing. They
Yeah.
were
And
buried when
I
we found them.
also like to assume that they probably dug them out, but it's like they needed the bomb squad to be.
Oh, hey,
I'm
I
sure-
told him. That's,
I told him, I'm sure that's not, completely incoherent with the Hawaiian civilization.
So,
but moving on.
So wait a minute. Their idea of defuse is
Oh,
to blow
Oh, there
it
we
up.
go. Now it's time for the dawn to rise.
Hang on a minute. Wait. Their idea of defusing is to blow it up. What is this? The Die Hard trilogy video?
Is that the flying missile from Makoto Shinkai's movie universe?
No, that's the dome that the alien created. And this, okay, I get the thought process behind having a slow opening and then shit gets real and you have to fend off the aliens. But it's still sloppily executed. And for the record, I couldn't find a writer for this game for saving my life. The closest I can find is a dialogue editor called Ben Harrington, but it's mostly relegated to the actual dubbing. So it's more like a person who got presented with the script to regulate that.
I assume that the frame rate is bad because it's the PS3
Yes,
version. If you were
yes.
playing on the 360, it wouldn't be this bad.
Yeah, that's my same assumption. And oh god, the aliens look
most-
terrible.
Most third-party games that this terrible like that.
Yeah.
And also remember the whole thing about the aliens not harming you unless you pulled out a weapon? No, these ones attack you and you have to pull down your weapon to defeat them. But get this, much like again Angry Joe said, the range of the weapons that you have at disposal is very limited. Normally you have your standard pistol and M16, I think it's an assault rifle essentially. But as soon as you kill your first alien, you essentially get an infinite supply of the alien's chain gun, which they drop like candies. So you might as well keep these as your default weapon, because it has a huge clip, deals decent enough of damage, and you can replenish it as much as you want because the aliens drop it again like candy.
You know, I gotta say, it's very good of a soldier to be able to handle alien technology that he literally just picked up. And yes, I get it. It's a video game, so fair enough on that. But if they're trying to make a very in-touch story, they're not doing well.
No. Again, even on a strictly gameplay serviceable level, this is a very mediocre FPS. Like I said, I think Double Helix has been misused all over the years, but it doesn't change the fact that this game is very mediocre.
So here's my question. Whose dumb idea was it to think that, oh, you don't really want to be playing in the events of the game, on a battleship or anything? No. You want to be completely on the sidelines, not even on the damn ships.
I mean, I guess
Double Helix.
No, probably Activision. Also, I guess the good news is that we're not gonna see neither Liam Neeson, Rihanna, or Taylor Kitsch. I guess.
Remember, Dwetz, at the time of this game's release, Call of Duty was still on that peak of its popularity, so Activision most likely told Double Helix to just make something that could, attract the Call of Duty audience. Basically.
You know,
So how come the Wii versions and that aren't first-person shoots?
Because they were
Because
developed by
really care
something.
about the Wii.
Actually, they were developed by another kind of studio. It's called like Magic Pockets, I think it's called.
And get this, people like the Wii version better for not being a first-person shooter. Like, okay, let me talk about Call of Duty. Yes, the formula for Call of Duty itself worked, but wouldn't you know, trying to apply it to everything just caused stuff to deteriorate under Activision. It's like, you know, it's like, hey, maybe
So it'd be like if they made Crash Bandicoot a first-person shoot.
Pretty much.
Oh, you're telling me that you wouldn't play a Crash Bandicoot first person
with his fruity
Not
bazooka.
TNT boxes.
Yeah, I can imagine how the trailer would go. He just shoots things, and then at the end of it, he goes, "Whoa!"
Believe it or not, Dwibs,
It'll just be like Splatoon or the Plants vs. Zombies shooter game.
believe it or not, Dwibs, back in 2012, that would have been a legit fear to have, because pretty much around this time, everything Activision had, they were trying to turn into Call of Duty.
Except
And-
Skylanders.
And
Or
Transformers.
Spider-Man, I guess, because that was one of the licenses, but they couldn't touch too much. But to be honest, this was 2012, so it was right around with the release the Spider-Man Edge of Time, so...
There was also...
And well, they released the Amazing Spider-Man video game this.
Ah! Look at that model standing completely still. He's not even properly moving. Oh.
But yeah, as you can imagine, all these soldier... Sorry, mate. All these
Sorry.
soldier enemy have these established, goggles and masks covering them so you don't see the lip moving.
Well,
when
it's
they talk.
brilliant. We don't have to animate lift movements. Isn't that great? But yeah.
I mean-
Yeah, this kind of thing has been done in gaming since ever.
They do it with all the models.
But
though.
yeah, but doing it all for all models shows cheapness technically on
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
front.
to be fair, I'll still take that over the mouth being there and not being animated. At least they're trying to hide their limitations.
Oh, well,
Hey, Joe, but that's more than what Lightning Returns gave us. So, I'll take it.
you are technically right. But then again, being better than Lightning Returns is like being better than the broken down bike of the town.
Yeah.
But yeah.
on the topic of subtitles, that's the interesting thing, curiosity, because I've been personally on my own time replaying the Ratchet and Clank series in preparation for Rift Apart, and you know what's interesting that I found out? Some versions of the original trilogy have subtitles, but others don't.
Well, didn't you already talk that the American version has them, but the European version doesn't?
For 2, yes, Teo, but for 3, it's apparently only the European version that has subtitles. I don't
What?
understand
Why?
I don't understand what the hell
Hey,
Insomniac
hey.
wrong at Insomniac when they made these games, but the subtitle code apparently got lost somewhere.
Hey, developers.
Let me explain.
Hold
let
on.
me explain.
Let
When
me
I'm-
explain.
When a particular ship is in the right position, you can actually use it to call an airstrike. The specific ship will launch a specific type of move, like I said, a missile or a particular type of salvo that may help you defeat the enemies or clear obstacles. The top left corner also tells you the elf meter of a ship. So yes, that is important too. This entire game is a gigantic escort mission to boot.
Yeah.
Because
But I thought the movie established that there's quite a lot of technology able to work because of the shield.
I guess. Not just that, but like you said, it's a gigantic escort mission because when the enemy ships will arrive, they will start also hitting yours. And if you don't counterattack, they will take a lot of damage and potentially be KO'd. And for a couple of missions, it's integral that you keep all of your ships in good health. So again, this game can become stressing in a millisecond if you're not careful.
So let me put it like this: you're essentially doing everything but piloting the damn ships in a game
You
called
can
Battleship.
do it, but you will see why. Go on, Taylor, first.
To give you an idea, I tried the American release of the HD trilogy. I tried the European release of the HD trilogy. I tried the digital versions of the HD trilogy. the subtitle menu, like when you try to select it, it just skips over it. The icon for
God.
subtitle is there. I don't even understand what the hell happened.
Did they think that some countries don't like subtitles? Okay. I get it, you know. Maybe you don't have multi-5, but trust me, having any option for subtitles is better than nothing.
But that's the thing, Jova. The Ratchet & Clank games had multi-5, text and dub from the first one.
So why
Yeah,
didn't
because
they
that's the thing
bring
that-
back
See, my issue,
subtitles?
see, here's the thing, Jova. I can understand that the Sly Cooper games never had subtitles to begin with. That's the very least a consistent flaw. But this isn't even that, Jova. Some versions have subtitles, others don't. And I don't understand what the hell happened. I don't know if it's a bug that made it so that the source code sometimes it's well applied, others it's not. Clearly somebody screwed up, I guess is the best
Well,
I can put it.
to my knowledge, the HD ports weren't really all that particularly good.
The trailer.
I'll argue they're fine enough.
I can
they're
tell
not
you this
perfect.
the actual trilogy, original trilogy, is fine as it is. Not super spectacular, but fine as it is. It's Gladiator / Deadlocked that is kind of butchered. I distinctly remember.
Reminds me, I should get Deadlocked before the PSN.
I still distinctly remember one particular cutscene where an ancient helmet is supposed to form on his head, but the model gets all garbled and you see all the frames fucking up. If when I actually get to that game, I hope I can manage to recapture that glorious moment. We'll see.
So,
No,
speaking
yeah.
of glorious moments, how about this?
No, go ahead.
Speaking of glorious moments, how about this luscious background here with Sam there, grass patches here and there.
Not just that, this is supposed to be the Hawaiian, set of islands, so it should be actually luxurious in terms of vegetation. I don't mean, in quantity, but in how it looks. But the problem is by taking the Call of Duty approach, the combination of the fucking bloom and the desaturation of color makes everything so unappealing to look at.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
I can't physically look at the sand because it's shining in my face.
it really is amazing that they managed to get so much wrong in this game. Like, trust me, it's even more amazing
Just like
than
the movie.
Well, that's the thing. It's even more amazing at how much they got wrong with this game than the movie. Like,
okay, now things are getting interesting. There's an enemy ship going around, so it's time to take things personally. By using a set of cards that you can collect by killing enemies, you can potentially use one particular type of cards to take direct control of one of your ships and enter a battle state where you destroy the enemy ship by spamming your triggers. And mind you, as long as you keep the cursor on the ship, the enemy ship has no chance of defeating you. Look at that.
Wait,
Yep.
did I miss something?
yep, that was it. Did you enjoy that bit of Battleship gameplay?
This is kind of like this for most of the game. I don't think there's like a single enemy ship that has a kind of a chance, even in harder difficulties.
It's like I told you, that you snooze, you lose.
But if this is the case, how come the people in the movie were having such a hard time?
I know, right?
Because they didn't have the random soldier from the island directing them, apparently.
Of course.
Like, okay. Again, that's the thing. We finally get some Battleship
God,
gameplay,
so
but it
blinding.
might as well not even be there because the Battleship gameplay is piss easy. It is practically impossible to lose any of those.
And anyway, each time you'll finish the mission by going towards the extraction point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So tune in next time for the second mission, which will be kind of more of the same. See ya.
Have
See ya.
fun.
See ya.